Now, the lead investigator in the Oscar Pistorius murder case could be removed from the case after it emerged he's facing attempted murder charges himself. Detective Hilton Botha is accused of firing at a minibus carrying passengers in 2011. Let's speak to Eliseev, who works as a journalist for Eyewitness News in Johannesburg, and he broke the story that this detective is facing those attempted murder charges. We're very grateful for your time here on BBC News. I mean, it's an extraordinary development. Did the prosecutors know that this detective faced these charges when they put him on the stand yesterday?
Well, we've already heard in court that no, they didn't. Lead prosecutor Gerinel said that he only found out about this development yesterday. So this would have been happening while Hilton Botha was in the witness box giving his evidence. But as you rightfully say, absolutely extraordinary that this now comes back to life, because those charges were originally withdrawn and then were reinstated earlier this month on the 4th of February, we believe. So just a couple of days before all of this broke. Now that lead investigator has to go to court in May and answer ultimately to 7 counts of attempted murder.
South Africa's National Prosecuting Authority, one of their spokesmen, has just been speaking outside of the courthouse. And let me just read you the quote, because he says that the timing of these charges against this detective is, quote, totally weird, and the policeman should now be dropped from the case. I mean, what are you hearing about simply the timing of this?
Well, initially, when we broke the story, there was a lot of speculation about that. There were some reports that it may have even happened yesterday. We know now from the National Prosecuting Authority that that is not the case, that it happened earlier in the month. But certainly the timing is crucial, because if it had happened in conjunction with this case, why did it not come out in court yesterday? If it happened earlier on, why has the investigating officer not been suspended, for example, while this is all aired out and tested? Because at the moment, these are still allegations. But I've spoken to the NPA, and they've said that the 2 cases have been running in parallel, because the system is so large and there's different provinces across the country, and this didn't happen in Gauteng. This is something that happened in Mpumalanga, in another province. In other words, the NPA has said to us that they have nothing to do with each other and that it is a coincidence.
I'll talk about the impact on the Pistorius case in a moment, but just in terms of factual detail, do you know, given that you broke this story, why the decision was made to reinstate these charges, because they had been dropped? Do you know that?
We don't know why that came about. We do know that the 3 officers, one of them being Hilton Botha, were arrested originally. The allegations there was that they were trying to pull over a taxi. They shot wildly at it. It was alleged. Some of the allegations were that they had been drinking while this was happening, while on duty, driving a police car and using state firearms. Very serious allegations indeed. But when the matter first went to trial, or to court at least, because it never got to trial, it was actually taken off the court roll at the magistrates' court level. We don't know why, but it may have had something to do with the evidence, or perhaps the witnesses that weren't willing to come out and go through the court process. It'll be very interesting to see on what basis that happened.
Just a brief thought on the Pistorius case. I mean, is it likely to have an impact on that case, do you think? Because, I mean, these things are entirely separate. Do you think it will have some sort of consequence?
We simply don't know yet, but it certainly does speak to the credibility of the officer, who is such a key witness in this bail application. There's a lot of speculation about whether this may improve Oscar Pistorius' chances of getting bail. We don't know that that verdict will come either today or tomorrow, but it is coming fairly shortly. And I think at that stage we'll see if it has had any kind of impact.
OK, Eliseev, thanks very much for taking time to speak to us. Thank you.